Alright, it's Roger with iGadgetGeek, and I have a video review today of the brand new Samsung Infuse 4G for at&t. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the phone itself. As you can see here, it's extremely thin. So you can see there's a side view. It really only has this little bump at the bottom. Other than that, it's a very thin phone all the way around. And you have this nice band around the outside. It's kind of a black glossy plastic. And then you have, of course, your volume up and down is here on the left hand side. And the right side has got your sleep wake button like most Samsungs. On the very top you have your headphone jack and your secondary mic. Around the bottom you have your microphone and your micro USB sync and charge port. For here you have your 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera. On the back you have an 8 megapixel rear camera with flash and autofocus. As you can see here, the back battery cover, go ahead and pop it off here. It's quite, it's just plastic, pops on and off. But if you look here, you can see it has, of course, the nice Samsung logo, and it has kind of a textured finish to it. Then, of course, here you have your battery, your SIM card, and then underneath your SIM card right here is your micro USB. Now the battery is, I believe, like 1700 and something milliamps. I'll have to check on that to see exactly the size of the battery. But to put the cover back on, it just snaps back on. It's extremely thin piece of plastic, but you know, it's not really noticeable. Some people have complained that it's this cheap, flimsy feeling plastic battery cover, but it secures to the phone very well. Of course, the front, you have a huge piece of Gorilla Glass that houses the 4.5 inch Super AMOLED Plus display. Now at the very bottom you have your capacitive. Let's go ahead and take a look. You have down here at the bottom, as you can see here, you have your capacitive buttons on the very bottom. Like, say, you know, your menu, home, back, and search. Now I have rooted this, so we're going to go a little bit into the root of this software, and I will have a link on my website that will take you to the page at XDA Developers that will give you the instructions on how to root this brand new Infuse 4G. Now, as you can see here, it has this beautifully large 4.5 inch display, and I am running Launcher Pro Plus. You can purchase that on the market. Of course, you have your standard pull down menu with your notifications. Also, you have your screen orientation, your silent, your GPS, your Bluetooth, and your Wi-Fi, which is kind of nice. And of course, you can clear any notifications. Now with Launcher Pro, of course, you can have the missed call count and your mail count as long as you're messaging. The camera itself, let's go ahead and take a little look at that. Of course, it has an 8 megapixel camera, and the camera on this phone, as you can see here in the video, is probably be hard to see in the video, but it takes excellent pictures. I've taken several pictures with it. It's been very good. Now if you touch this over here, you can go into your settings, and of course you have your focus mode, all kinds of different settings. Of course, your resolution, as you can see here, it is 3264 by 2448. You can choose whether that uses the built-in internal 16 gigs of memory, or if you have an extra micro SD card. It comes with a 2 gig. I have stuck a 16 gig in here for a total of 32. Now also too, if you touch this, you can swap it to the forward-facing camera. And we'll take a look here at my video. See, there we are, recording a video. Go ahead and take it back. Go ahead and head on out of there. Now, of course, let's take a look at some of the other features. Of course, your dial pad is pretty much skinned Samsung. That's pretty normal. Your gallery is the stock 3D gallery, which is quite nice. And of course, your messaging app is like that too. So you can see here on your music player, you can go into your album view, and of course it'll support album artwork, to where when you play an album, it'll show you the artwork in the back, which is nice. And one of the nice things too that you get with this is the video app, as you can see there, so it links all your videos there so you can play those. Now what I use for the forward-facing camera for video calls is I use Tango. That allows you to make video calls over your 3G or 4G connection, which is quite nice. Of course, you have all the standard features that you would have with Launcher Pro. Of course, here is beautiful widgets. Now, one of the things a lot of people are interested about is the speed of the download and upload. Now, I'm in Cabot. I don't have the fastest data speed here, but we'll go ahead and run through one here, kind of give you an idea of what I get here at my house. Now, the server is in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I'm probably about 30 miles from Little Rock where I live, so it'll kind of give you an idea. Now, I'm averaging around 1.5. Now, inside of Little Rock, I got almost 10 MIPS. I got like 9.5, but I haven't really been able to get much more than about 1.5 on the upload. That's the most I've seen is about 1.5, 1.6. So as you can see here from my house, I'm getting 1.6 down, and it looks like it's going to be right around 1 up. So you can see there. And if I go into my results here, you can kind of see that I average about 2.5, 1.5 to 2.5, and usually right around 1.2 or so, which is good, and that's straight out of the box, so you don't have to change anything there. That makes it kind of nice. Now, the phone itself is extremely light and thin. It is quite large with that 4.5-inch screen, but the fact that it is so thin kind of makes it manageable. To kind of give you an idea of the size, here is the HTC Inspire, and now we'll go ahead and take a comparison between the two. As you can see here, it is quite a bit thinner than the Inspire, the Infuse is, but if you look at it, it's about the same width. Go ahead and get this to where you can see. If you look here, it's the same width overall, but it's quite a bit thinner. Now if you look at the height, if you look here, the Infuse is just a little bit higher, a little bit taller than the Inspire. So that kind of gives you an idea, but where it really comes into play is going to be on this screen. I mean, if you look at that, look at the size difference. The Infuse has got the 4.5-inch Super AMOLED Plus, where the HTC has the 4.3-inch, and you can see the difference there. Here in the same lighting, you can see how much brighter and crisper the Infuse is, and in fact, just so we know for sure, I'm going to go in here and I will go ahead and use the same wallpaper that I'm using on my Infuse to give you guys a really more of a comparison, wallpaper to wallpaper, of what this looks like. That way you can get a real good idea of the difference. Now too, one of the nice things, if you look here, when I'm setting my wallpaper, you have home screen wallpaper and lock screen wallpaper. So you can set the lock screen wallpaper as something different than your home screen, which I think is a nice feature that for some reason Android hasn't had before now, and I think it's great. That's always been my biggest thing that I've disliked about Android, is not being able to change that lock screen, but you can on the Infuse. So if we take a look there, and you can kind of see wallpaper to wallpaper, you can see how much brighter the display is on the Infuse, which it just gives you a really nice display, and it is a bit bigger, but man, the display is just phenomenal. That's really where this phone shines. Of course, it has the 1.2 gigahertz processor. It has 512 megabytes of RAM with 16 gigs built in, expandable up to 32 gig micro SD card. I have a 16 gig in here. So that's been my little short review of the Samsung Infuse 4G, along with a little bit about the root of the phone. If you'd like to know more about how to root your Infuse, go to my website. There'll be a link in the description. On the page about this post will be the links necessary to root your phone. All right, one last little thing I want to go over about the Infuse is some of the goodies you get in the box. Now, it doesn't have an actual HDMI built in, but what you do is you get this little HDMI adapter. And the neat thing of the way this works is you'll plug it into the bottom of your Infuse right here. And then it'll give you a full HDMI, but you have to also plug in your power that came with your phone. So you'll get your USB sync charge cable, and you'll plug it into this end here. and then take the adapter that they send you to charge your phone, hook the other end of that USB up, plug this into the wall, and then you'll get full mirroring of your phone. So if you want to play Angry Birds on your big 50-inch flat screen at home, you can do that with this supplied HDMI adapter. Now that comes in the box, as well as a pretty decent set of headphones, as you can see here. These are some Samsung headphones. They've got the little answer button right there. And of course, that is a standard headphone jack. And you also get a few extra little plugs there for your ears. So all in all, I think for the money, you get a lot of extra goodies with the phone itself. It's nice for them to include the headset. A lot of phones have gone to where they're not including that headset. And for them to give you an option for the HDMI out in the box instead of, say, having to purchase that adapter separately, I think was a good move on Samsung's part. Not make you have to go out and buy another little part, because a lot of manufacturers would have made this an option and would have charged you $30-40 for it. The fact that Samsung includes that in a box was a definite bonus for me.